All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Minds of the Astute, episode 5. We have with us, as usual, Chad, as always, since day one. We got Tim, we got Rick, and we got a special guest with us, Jason Easter from Easter's Custom Coding. And I want to thank you again, Jason, for coming on with us and taking a minute out of your day to hang out with us and talk about what you do. And we really appreciate it. So,
Not a problem.
all right. So, give me just a second here. Let me share this here to the Facebook page. Guys, I was telling Tim earlier and Chad that my birthday was July 3rd and I turned a very young 27. But I went out to go to work and got my car and my car wouldn't start. Greatest birthday present ever. And what happened was in the end, we thought it was the starter and it ended up being the battery. And I took it to the shop and they had it for a few days and he gave me a call and it was laughable, ended up being the starter, ended up being just the battery. So had I known that, my car wouldn't have been out of commission for a week. I could have walked across the street to Vance Auto Parts and bought a battery. So great birthday present ever. And it was exciting so great way to kick off the month of July. So, but anyway, again, we got Jason from Easter's Custom Coding to join us today. And I've known, well, all three of us really. Chad don't remember, Jason don't remember about Chad, but it's okay. We've known each other quite some time since we were kids. Jason, Rick, and myself, and Chad in there too. We got to get Chad some memory juice going on, buddy. Some something to get that roll. You and Jason can share a glass and have relive some DuPont Panther memories. Maybe we'll sing the fight song. The DuPont Panthers. Here's to you is what we'll do. So.
Who's starting
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. And we got Tim with us as well. So Tim is from the Nitro Antique Mall. By the way, be sure to go by his shop and check him out. He's got a lot of great stuff, comics, cards, collectibles, video games, and he's got a whole bunch of stuff downstairs that's just awesome. So again, thanks, Jason, for coming on to the podcast with us. Jason is from Easter's Custom Coding, and what he does is that he coats things. He primarily coats guns, but he coats other things as well, whether it be bottles or something of that nature. So, like we were talking about earlier, Jason, tell us how you actually got started into doing this.
So the previous job that I had about 8 or 9 years ago had some demand for some refinishing guns, and I was working on some personal guns myself that had been abused and needed some attention and everything. So I started researching online for a way to refinish guns because everywhere I had priced was just an outrageous amount of money to refinish a gun. It sometimes wasn't worth what the price to refinish it was. And so after doing some research online, I found a couple products that I used or tried and found a couple that worked well for me, and essentially started refinishing some of my own guns to bring them back to life or to give them back, some longevity that were memorable guns, sentimental to me that needed to be taken care of as well. And then once I started doing that, a few friends seen it and said, "Hey, can you do my gun?" And then the next thing I know, can you do my gun? And can you do my gun? And then it just kind of snowballed from there. I was doing it in Oceana for about 3 or 4 years before I moved back to Hurricane 5 years ago. And it was a mediocre business, I guess you could say, for a side business in addition to my real job. And done okay. But once I moved here to Hurricane and got all my licenses and everything taken care of and straightened out, it really just kind of snowballed. There was more of a market here. And so after that, I really just started pushing the company a little bit on social media and marketing and such. And then it's just grown from there. It's just something I really enjoy. I've always enjoyed firearms and working with them. And just gives me a chance to, give people something new and different to look at on their guns. And in some cases, some people who, have family heirlooms that need them restored so they can pass them on to their kids. It allows me to do that as well.
Yeah, I was showing before Rick got on, I was showing the guys some of your work. And Tim, we had some questions and Tim was asking you some questions. And what was it that you said that your oven was how big? I'm sorry.
It's about 22 inches by 22 inches and about 4.5 foot tall, almost 5 foot tall. So basically, if I can get it in my oven, I can coat it.
Okay.
My sandblaster is about the same size. So at this point in time, that's about the max. I'm actually in the middle of a building expansion. I'm adding on to my building and almost more than double my square footage. And so hopefully the next year I can obtain a larger oven and maybe do like 10 mass bicycle frames and larger items as well in the
So
future.
is it like a ceramic coating, or is it a powder coating, or what kind of coating is it?
So the product I use is KG gun coat, and it's a thin film coating. It's primarily made for firearms, but it works for several different things. It was actually developed for the military back in the 60s, and the Navy
Oh,
SEALs used it, and they've used it by contract for years. They still have military contracts, KG does, with for different things. But it's a thin film coating, so where powder coating goes on an average of 3 to 4 millimeters thick, KG gun goes on about half a mil thick, and it
wow.
has extremely good wear resistance, and that allows us for high tolerance pieces or low tolerance pieces that have a real tight fit where the coating doesn't mess up the functioning
Okay.
of the firearm or whatever it may be.
So what is this gun right here? Do you remember what this is?
So that is a 300 Blackout by Battle Arms. That is actually my personal gun. It's a custom build that I built from the ground up. I essentially ordered an upper and lower set and built it from there up. So that's one of my prizes that I just finished completely here in the last few weeks.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's really, really, really nice. I like that one right there. Um yeah. Now you said that guns is your primary thing. And we were talking earlier before we went live. Take me through the process. If say someone came to you and said, hey, I got this gun that I want you to coat. Take me through the process of being able to do that.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk with the customer and see what they want. Uh, some people have realistic expectations, some don't, and some know what they want and some don't. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a feel for the customer and what they want, and then once we kind of decide on a pattern, if they don't know, I'll bring them into the shop. We'll look at samples, we'll look at colors, we'll look at different things there, and then kind of decide on the direction they want to go with the firearm. And you know, a lot of people have ideas coming to me. They'll send me a picture and say, "Hey, I want something similar to this," or "Hey, I want something similar to that," and we kind of roll with that. So it kind of eliminates that process there. But when someone doesn't know what they want, we go through a process of almost like renderings or sample colors and ideas as well. And then some customers just come to me and say, "Hey, I like grays and I like greens and I like blacks. Do your magic." And so those are the customers that are a lot of fun. Just do what you want to do, or hey, I want something that looks rusty, and do your thing. And so those are the projects that are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the process is concerned, or how I do it, the gun will come in, it gets completely disassembled from top to bottom down to the bare frame. All the parts are removed inside and out. That way, we're basically taking it back to a factory, disassembled gun, and then moving from there. And then it'll get degreased and cleaned out of all the oils. Then it'll get sandblasted and made sure that it's properly prepped and clean of contaminants. Then it gets painted. Then it gets baked, and then it gets reassembled. It is the process in a nutshell.
The this right here, Chad. What did you say this was? I'm gonna let Chad say it because Chad he caught me off guard when he knew what this was.
All I said was it looked like a lower.
It is a lower.
So yeah, I actually work with somebody who also builds guns, and I've got to see a lot of different things.
Yeah. So that's the Spikes Advantage Pineapple Grenade Lower. It's just a different version they make, and the lady who wanted this coated wanted the color fill done. She didn't want a whole lot of fancy stuff on the gun itself, but she wanted all of her controls to be like a Tiffany blue. So that's what she got.
Oh wow, that's really really nice. Now let me ask you this because where Rick does music, would would you be able to coat an instrument?
Yes and no. It would depend on what it is. Guitars and stuff. If you got me just a blank guitar body, no neck, just the guitar or whatever else, or stripped all the way down, and yes, I could do it, and I can coat that as well. If you want me to take it apart, you're probably talking to the wrong person. That would be Rick's department. But drum rings on a drum. Yeah, I could do those.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be more applicable to like hardware. Like
I can
stamps.
barely hear you, Rick. If you can repeat it, Melvin, what he said.
I said
He said, go ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like I think it would be more applicable to like hardware. Like stands and rims, like you were saying.
Yes, and I could do anything metal, stands, rims, all that. I could do.
Tuning keys, bridges,
Yep,
all that good guitar stuff.
yep. Anything that's metal is a no-brainer. If it's metal, I can coat it. Some of the plastics become an issue, and some wood things become an issue. But if it's metal, it's a no-brainer. I can do it if I can fit it in the oven or fit it in the blaster.
Now, what is this? What is this right here, Jason?
That is an Urban Tiger Strike camo builder set. So that's an upper and a lower receiver and a handguard, and that's actually for an AR-10 for a 308 version or for a 6.5 Creedmoor long action AR. But that is an Urban Tiger Strike camo pattern.
I tell you, you said that you're going to open another shop or expand. Are you going to? Well, let me ask you this: Do you say that you're going to expand, but do you look? Let's just say expand like in different locations, or just expand where you are?
Expanding where I'm at. So
Okay.
right now my shop is pretty small. I have maxed out, and so all I am able to do basically is coat guns at this point, or just coat things. I can't do any machine work. I can't do any polishing and different things because I just don't have the space. So by expanding my facility that I'm in now, it will give me room to add more services like polishing and some machining and different things. But it's also going to add me a small office/showroom space as well to display items and possibly even display some firearms for sale or samples of what I can do.
The what's about the average time it takes for you to complete a project like this one right here? What is this gun, and about how long does it take you to complete something like that?
So that is a Glock 43.
Check.
Do what?
Rick was checking his microphone.
I got you. So that's a Glock 43 done in rose gold. And actual time for me to actually do this gun, you're looking at about 3 hours, somewhere in there. But with the weight that I have right now, if you brought it to me today, I would tell you it'd be 4 weeks before you would get it back. With the guns that are in line and things ahead of you as well. So right now I'm running about a 4 to 5 week time frame based on the workload that I have. And that varies throughout the course of the year. Sometimes it may be 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes it may be 5 to 7 weeks. It just depends on what my workload is at the time.
Yeah, because you started out about what, 7 years ago? I believe that's what it is, something like that. Yeah. When I know that you said earlier that that your business like picked up from day one to right now, especially with the ability to promote yourself on social media. Has that picked up drastically because of that?
Oh gosh, when I first started doing this, and it was starting to kind of get out to the public a little bit, and we'll say 6 months into this or 8 months into this, I was doing maybe one gun a month on average, maybe two on average. Now, sometimes I get in 3 or 4 guns a week, so it's really picked up on that part. And this isn't my primary job. This is my evenings and weekends hobby, you could say. So I work a full-time job through the week and then try to keep up with this over the weekend. And that's one reason the lead times are, get bigger through different times of the year and different things as well. But right now I get about 3 or 4 guns a weekend.
Nice. Now, let me ask you this. Something like this Glock that you got here. All right. The pricing, something small like a handgun. What do we? If I came to you today with this Glock right here, what are we looking at?
$100 for that Glock right there.
$100.
That's
Okay.
not as bad as I thought.
And that's just the lower is all I painted on that gun and the mag plate. I didn't touch the slide or anything else. That was just $100 to do the lower on that Glock.
Nice. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I honestly, and it wasn't, just off the top of my head because where I don't know how much time and resources and stuff that you use to create these, but um, that's not bad at all. Just like Tim said, I mean, not bad at all, not bad at all. I like these right here. These two right here. I was telling them earlier. I said, man, this looks like some Bonnie and Clyde stuff right here.
Jason,
Those were actually some graduation gifts for a couple of guys' nieces, I believe. He bought them for his nieces and had them done.
I like
Jason.
that.
So have you seen the Glocks that are painted or coated to look like the old Nintendo pistols?
I have, yes.
Have you done anything like that?
Yes and no. So, yeah, I have. I've done a Nintendo like that. But honestly, I try to stay away from that. I did one for a close friend who was going to use it for a display and leave it at that. But I typically don't like to do those because I don't like making it look like a toy any more than it kind of already does. I've had requests to look like Nerf guns that I've turned down. And I'm like, I'm not going to paint your AR to look like a Nerf gun. I mean, and they wanted full blown white, blue letters, orange tip to look like a toy. And consciously, I just can't do that. And
Yeah, you can't have the orange tip, not on a real gun.
do what?
You can't have the orange tip on a real gun.
Not supposed to. Correct.
Yeah, it's crazy that you asked that because the moment that you start saying that, what popped in my head was when we were kids. You remember the story about laser tag?
Yep.
And yeah, that immediately popped in my head the moment that Tim brought that up. And I don't know if you guys do you guys remember that the story about the laser tag where the kids were playing and the laser tag had the red laser and the police officer thought it was a gun and ended up shooting the kid. I'm not sure if the kid died, but the kid ended up getting shot because of that. And after that happened is when all those laws went into effect. Like Rick said, they got to have the orange tip. And Tim being a toy collector and a toy seller, there's the G1 Megatron. Yeah, which is very if they reproduce that now, it comes with an orange tip,
Right.
I believe. So, yeah, because of that happened back in the 80s. That's when all those laws went into effect, and they had to take the guns with the orange. They don't even really make guns, period, for kids that resemble anything remotely close to an actual real gun nowadays. So they're just off the wall colors and things like that.
Except for the airsoft guns. They do
Oh,
make the airsoft guns, which are kind of a hindrance too.
Some of the airsoft guns and some of the cross-run pellet pistols are extremely detailed. They're scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this right here, what is this right here? I like whatever this is. I was telling them earlier that this looks like something from a Call of Duty game.
Okay, so that's basically just a standard AR-15, and we had purchased, or the customer had purchased, some aftermarket stock gripping forearm that was made of wood, and so essentially I painted the black area and got it all filled with the color field and different things, and then I assembled the wood pieces into that as well. And so that's a Boyd's, I believe, aftermarket wood set is who made that. I'm not sure, but and so we assembled all that together and kind of made a build out of it as well. He bought some of the parts, and I had some of the parts here, so it was a combination.
I like that. I like that a lot. This one right here, I want to go through your guns real quick. And
I love that one.
What is that?
So that is a SIG X5, Sig Sauer X5. That gun is decked out. I did that for a guy probably a year and a half ago, I'm going to guess. And he was one of the guys who gave me some liberty. He said, dude, he said, I like greens. He said, I want it to look like it's been dropped in a mud puddle. And I said, can I have some liberty with it? And he said, yeah, do something cool with it and make it pop. So I did the Flying Tiger off the old fighter jets.
Mm-hmm.
And then distressed it and made it look like it had been dropped in a mud puddle, essentially.
Oh, that's really nice. I like that a lot. All right, what about this one right here?
So that's an interesting build there. I had actually made a builder set to sell, at one of the local gun shows, which was an upper, lower, and a handguard. And the gentleman bought it, and then decided he wanted to change the handguard out. And he wanted the stock gun, so he actually brought it back to me 6 months later and said, "Can you paint this handguard and this stock to match what you had done on the original builder set?" So essentially, I built two of them, or painted two of them. I painted it, and then he changed the handguard and added the stock later. And so when it came back, I had to recoat the handguard and the stock to match the receiver set.
Nice. I like that a lot. Guys, don't forget you can Jason has a Facebook page. He has a Instagram, and of course he has the website ecoding.com, and he has a Facebook page that is Easter's Custom Coding on Facebook. That's the name for your Instagram as well, right?
Yeah. Hashtags EC Coding.
EC Coding, yeah. And it's also eccoding.com. You can go check him out through there. I was showing the guys earlier before you got on. This is really nice right here. Obviously, it has the American flag on it, and for everybody that's patriotic, that's really, really nice. So this one right here, what type of gun is that, Jason?
So that is that's a Glock 43 as well.
Mm-hmm.
We had done actually in a training class. We had done that about 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the ones I had done for one of my students to show them different techniques.
Wow, that's nice. I don't think I showed the guys the was it shotgun, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the Mossberg Shockwave, and that gun, and there's another one on my page that's very similar to it. It's got browns and tans on it. Are probably my favorite two guns that I've done. I love. It's kind of like a Walking Dead theme, or a Swamp Thing theme in this case here. Like it was in the swamp, but it's all rusted and moldy and mildewy. And I absolutely love doing these guns. They give me a ton of freedom artistically to do things, and I really enjoy doing those because they're so unique and look different.
All right, so take me through this right here.
So that is an antique bronze AR that I've done the scope on as well to match. It's just a standard AR-15. I believe it's a Diamondback Firearms. That one was, and it was just done in an antiqued brass pattern that I kind of created on my own or design.
Nice, I like that. And then we've got this last one here. Now, is that just propped up on something, right?
It is.
Okay.
It's actually my fire pit outside.
Oh, okay.
So that's a Glock 27. It's a 40 caliber, and that's just a distressed copper slide that was done on that, and a standard frame below it.
Nice, I like that. Guys, did you have any questions for Jason about anything that he's got there on the screen there? Because I know that Chad has the gun knowledge. I'm gonna tell you that right now, and I'm sure that Rick and Tim do as well.
Yeah, one thing I was wondering, I actually meant to ask you this a long time ago, but when you're doing finishing, different finishes and stuff, do you ever have to like resurface the grip areas and do stipling and stuff like that?
It's thin enough to where I don't have to resurface any grip areas unless it's just something the customer wants done. The coating is thin enough to where it doesn't affect the grip. It doesn't fill in the holes or the grooves, so it still gives you a good sturdy grip all the way around through that. So I don't traditionally have to do anything to those. If a customer wants something stippled or laser stippled, I actually have a company I subcontract out with and send to them to do that for me because I don't have the ability to do that here in house.
Wonderful work, man. And again, we appreciate you coming on and taking a few minutes out of your day to hang with us and talk about what you do. We got Jason from Easter's Custom Coding over there in Hurricane. I believe that I have the address here. Let me find it here. There it is. At 660 Tackett's Branch Road in Hurricane, West Virginia. I want to tell you something funny about Hurricane. I talked to this guy on the phone one time for work, and he had pronounced hurricane, and I said, "You're not from around here, are you?" And he was like, "No." Yeah, people outside of the state they call hurricane. So I mean, I guess technically that's what it is, but you know how we are. It's hurricane, So, but let me get that off here. So I got to tell you, this one right here, I want to pull that up again. Man, I mean that right there is some bad stuff right there. I like that a lot, and um, man, that's really 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 nice, man. Really nice. Let me get that off the screen there. There we go, so we can see our beautiful faces. Yes. But hey, I want to thank you again, man, for taking just a few minutes out of your day to go to hang out with us and talk about what you do. Again, you can catch Jason on Facebook at Easter's Custom Coding. You can catch him on Instagram as well, and the website, which is um, EC Coding. Did I get that right?
Yep.
.com. Man. Do you guys have any questions for this guy before we let him out of here? Anything that you might want to bring to him that he can work on for you?
Off the top of my head, I mean,
What is it, Rick?
So I can think of a bunch of things. Like me and my dad have a huge gun collection. So
Bring it
where
to
do you
me.
want to start? Huh?
Bring it to me.
Yeah, man. It's like which one would we start with?
That's for you guys to decide.
Yeah. We'll definitely check him out. I think Rick's going to give you some business. He and his dad. Tim might have something from his shop.
a couple of guns sitting right here that been beat to death, so I might be giving him a call.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know about Chad. Chad's he's muted right now because he's got some.
Nah, my kid's in here singing while he's playing Xbox. So.
Ain't nothing
No,
wrong with it.
I have some guns that are beat to death and need love and care that I've given them. So yeah, probably.
Shame on you, Chad.
Sorry,
Terrible.
I've been wearing the nubs off the basketball.
Well, hey, thanks again, Jason, man, for taking time to hang out with us, and we hope that we can get some business across your way. And if you happen to go to Jason's shop, if you happen to hit him up and message him, make sure that you tell him that we sent you. And I don't know.
Give you a discount.
Yeah, well, there you go. Hey, Jason will give you a
10% off.
discount. What'd you say?
10% off.
Hey, Jason will give you
All right.
10% off if you go and you mentioned that you saw him on our podcast. So say Melvin sent me or Tim or Rick or Chad sent me, and Jason will give you 10% off.
Quick question for
what-
Jason. Your place just has, so is it by appointment only? Do you have store hours or?
Right now, it's pretty much by appointment only. I'm available
Okay.
most evenings, and really, I just ask for a message and let me know. That way,
Okay.
you don't just show up at my doorstep, essentially, because I am home based, for the most part. So I prefer a text or a phone call or a Facebook message if possible. So it's pretty much by appointment.
Good deal.
All right. Hey, unless you guys got another question, we're gonna let this guy get out of here so he can. Well, there's really not much to do right now anyway. There's no hardly any sports. There's always grass to cut.
And there's always guns to paint.
Yeah, and there's always guns to make. That's correct. Yeah, there's always guns to make. So, guys, be sure if you need something, this guy he's got the tools. He's got what it takes to make your gun look absolutely great. He also does other things too. Real quick, you said bottles, and what else have you done other than guns? You've done like sports bottles and
Sports bottles, cups, guns, bicycle parts, cranks, levers, motorcycle levers, fishing reels. If it's metal, pretty much I can coat it.
Right.
It just depends on what its application is.
Be sure to hit him up. Easter's Custom Coding over there on Facebook. He's on Instagram as well, and he's also online. He's got his website. Let me put that up there real quick for you. He's also got his website, so be sure to hit him up. His name is Jason. He works at Easter's Custom Coding. Great guy. I've known him for a long time, and maybe I'm going to find something that I can bring for him to code as well. So, hey, thanks again, man, for taking the time out of your day to hang out with us, and we really appreciate it. Yes, give him a big yes, absolutely. Thank you,
Guys,
thank you.
anytime.
And yeah, we really appreciate it, man. And hey, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right, man. Thanks.
Hey, thank you.
Man.
Thanks, Jason.
See you guys.
So absolutely, I'm not. I got to find something to take to him. honestly. Seriously, I mean, I tell you the one guns that he had that he said that his buddy got for his daughters. I believe it's what he said. These right here, that looks badass right there. I mean, every single one of them did, but that one without a doubt,
That's like
really caught
Miami
my eye.
Vice, Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, badass. So obviously we got more to the show. We got Mike Tyson coming back for a charity. Mike looks good. Mike looks
Real good.
He looks
yeah.
scary.
He's always looked scary. Mike Tyson's coming back, getting in shape to box. There he is, right there, Mike Tyson. Look at that.
He's
Getting in
terrifying.
shape. Very terrifying. Getting in shape to come back to box for charity, and we also have the NBA season starting soon, and I know that Chad's excited about that. I'm excited about that. We also have once the NBA resumes, the NBA players were granted permission to put something on the back of their jerseys that represents how they feel about social injustice. So we also have that too. But Mike Tyson, though, Mike Tyson, there he is in his youth, the great Iron Mike Tyson. And I got to tell you that when we were kids, there was Jordan, there was Tyson, and there was Michael Jackson. The three Mikes. And I remember as a kid, I didn't know much about boxing, but I remember as a kid, there were three boxers that I knew. Muhammad Ali, of course, Mike Tyson, and Sugar Ray Leonard. And those guys were, to me as a kid anyway, growing up in my family around my father and my uncles, they were the three names in boxing that you knew. And looking back now, in retrospect, how huge, not physically, but overall, Tyson was. And you go back, I catch myself all the time watching YouTube videos of Tyson when he was younger and he was knocking dudes out. And he was a beast. It was scary, like Tim said, very, very scary. So Tyson is coming back to box charity. Let me pull this up here. Let me find this here.
Who's he going to fight for charity?
Well, there have been rumors about Evander Holyfield, and as a matter of fact, I'd read a report. I got it pulled up right now. So Riddick Bowe, eager to get to fight Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield. So let me read this for you guys real quick. This is from the boxing scene staff. Add former undisputed heavyweight champion Riddick Bowe to the growing list of boxers who are willing to leave retirement for some in-ring action. I want to note that Tyson wants to come back and fight for charity. So it's not like he's going to get into the ring and actually be out there at 50-something years old and fight a Tyson Fury. So the comeback frenzy began a few months ago when Mike Tyson announced that he was training on a daily basis to return for a few exhibition fights to raise money for charity. It didn't take long before Evander Holyfield revealed his own plans to re-enter the ring with an eye on facing Tyson in a trilogy fight. Riddick Bowe, which by the way, I didn't know this. Riddick Bowe only lost one time. I did not know this. A lot of times those boxers that were in the same era as Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield get overshadowed by the two. Primarily Tyson, but Holyfield has that connection with Tyson because of the ear-biting incident. Riddick Bowe, 43-1 with 33 KOs, last fought in 2008 when he snapped a 3-year stint of inactivity to travel to Germany to win in an 8-round decision. Now he's got the itch to fight again. So Riddick Bowe wants to enter his name in to come back and fight for charity. So I think it would be nice. I think that, I'm not sure how big you guys are on MMA.
Watch it sometimes. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like boxing back in the late 80s or early 90s when you had Tyson was the beast to watch. Maybe MMA, it feels more like entertainment than it does fighting. Of course, it's not. But I mean, I can think where they've had the reality shows based around developing the MMA fighters. To me, it seems to take something away from the sport as far as making it. It makes it seem more like wrestling versus fighting.
Sure. Yeah, I never thought about it, but now that you say it, when you have what was the show that they had? What was it, like Strike Force or something, or I'm trying to think what it was.
Didn't they have one called Ultimate Fighter or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you do that, just like you said, it makes it feel like it's WWE, like it's scripted, and it just it just it doesn't feel authentic. When you have boxing, you have these big lead ups and things like that. Rick, are you big into the MMA?
Kind of sort of into it. Like I know enough about it to watch a little bit about it here and there and talk with people, but I'm not like huge into it.
If you were to have one out of the two, which one would you prefer? Would you prefer the boxing of old before MMA, where boxing was it, and especially up until the early 90s? Once, because let's be honest, once Tyson went down,
Boxing disappeared.
yeah, yeah. Holyfield kind of carried it for a while, but when you had guys like Hakeem Rockman, and you had guys like Buster Douglas and Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. The thing about Lennox Lewis is that when you have a foreign guy in boxing, I think Lennox Lewis was what, British? Is that he's British?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't. I mean, maybe it's just us over here in this country. It doesn't feel like it's ours. You know what I mean? Like it's. I don't know. It's kind of. It's just odd. It was odd to me. I was used to seeing Tyson and Holyfield, even Buster Douglas. And even Hakeem Rockman, who lasted what? Not did he even last a year?
A year. He's in and out.
Yeah. So then you bring in Lennox Lewis, and it didn't feel right at all. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, Chad.
Well, I think the biggest difference is as Americans, we love knockout artists. Everybody wants to see their favorite boxer knock somebody out. And that's not what Lennox Lewis was. He was a boxer.
Mhm.
And he was very good at defense, and he had a long jab, and he could just score points on you, and that's how he would win. He was an actual boxer.
I gotta watch that Tyson Fury fight, his first championship fight. And it's so disappointing because I think it's the kind of fighter he is. He's got huge reach on him. He jab, jab, hug. And it's boring. I mean, I'd rather sit and watch highlights of Tyson fighting, knowing how it's going to end, than watching a current fight by Tyson Fury, because his namesake's Tyson, but he's nothing like Tyson. He's that jab hug. It's almost like watching Larry Holmes fight the same way. Holmes was punch hug, punch hug, punch hug.
Right.
It's just not as much fun. It makes you want to bring back glory days of a beast like Tyson, who wants to get in there like Lennox
Brawler.
said in an interview. He wants to kill you with every punch. He wants to break your rib with every punch. He doesn't want to fight you to the end round. He wants to kill you as soon as he can.
Now, Larry Holmes was the dude that fell off the car, right? He jumped on it trying to, get pumped up, and he wasn't that Larry Holmes? No, that was
Spinks.
Was it Leon Spinks? Yeah.
There's two Spinkses. There was Michael Spinks and
Leon.
Leon, yeah.
Leon. Yeah.
Leon's one that fell from the car or something like that.
But you know what though? I mean, I tell MMA guys all the time. I've caught MMA from time to time, not very often, but from time to time. And the one thing that I tell MMA guys that are really into it and really didn't get to watch boxing, because boxing was part of all of us, all of ours sports sports upbringing. Each and every one of us, we knew who the boxers were, and like I said, we knew, Ali and Frazier and George Foreman and Sugar Ray Leonard and Tyson and Leon Spinks and Michael Spinks and Michael Moore and all those guys. And then MMA happened, and I think what happened with that was the what's the one I'm looking for? Allure of a guy like my size fighting a guy that's got 200 pounds on me and 3 or 4 inches in height. Remember when MMA first came out, there was no weight classes. It was just two dudes, no matter their size. They
That
were
was
brought.
back in the day when it had like a lot of it was filmed out of country, wasn't it? It had like the big cage match, and it was no holds barred. It's when the Shamrock guys were really popular at it. They do the chokehold, just choke everyone out on it, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rick. Who was the one dude? Was it Hoist Gracie? Is how you say his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like the big jujitsu guy. Like he got all that going in MMA, right?
Yeah. That's I believe that was him, and there was like him, and he was like me. He was like my size, and like Rick said with the jujitsu and taking dudes down and whatnot. And then you had guys like Tank Abbott, but it wasn't. I don't even want to use the word sanctioned. It was very very odd. It was cool, but it was very very odd. Then you had guys like the what was the big black dude that had all the street fights?
Kimbo Slice.
Kindle Slice.
Yes. Then you had guys like him, but it wasn't anything like Tyson brought. Tyson was the boxing version of Michael Jordan. He had the endorsements, and he had the glamour and the fame and the magazine covers and
Game.
yeah. By the way, I've got Tyson's Punch Out. I went and got it at this fantastic store down there in Nitro. By the way,
He was one of the first guys to have a video game after him, like his own signature video game. He was the first one to do it and have it be really popular.
oh yeah, I mean it was Tyson's Punch Out was, in my opinion, one of the greatest 8-bit NES games. Even looking at the graphics now, they're still, and that game came out, I'm gonna say what, 88, 89, somewhere around there.
Before that,
Maybe even 86, 87, maybe
I
something
was
like
thinking
that.
87.
Yeah. And the graphics are still good. And they were phenomenal for the time. Little Mac could have looked a little better. He kind of they kind of looked like they ran out of money after doing Tyson and all the other dudes, but it was phenomenal. But yeah, coming back I think Tyson's 52, 53, something like that. Let me see if I got that here. Hold on.
How old was Foreman when he came back to fight?
Foreman was, I want to say he was in his 50s, if I'm not mistaken. He either was in his late 40s, but I want to say he was in his early 50s.
Something's making me want to say 48.
It don't matter because he said himself he's made a hell of a lot more money selling grills than he ever did boxing.
Yeah, he killed it. He when he had the copyright to that grill. I think a copyright lasts what, about, I want to say
7 years or something, or
yeah, it's not very long. It's not very long, because what happens with the copyright, if I'm not mistaken, is if it's something like an appliance or if it's merchandise, your copyright can only last so long because they don't want you to monopolize. Is what they don't want to happen. So after you've had your stuff out for 4 or 5 years, that's when the knockoffs start coming, and you have Hulk Hogan had a grill for a while. I don't know if you guys remember that. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that. I gotta look that one up.
Seriously, I'm not joking. Hulk Hogan had a grill. I promise you, Hulk Hogan had a grill. I kid you not, he had a grill. But even Foreman. Oh, this is what I was getting at. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked there.
There it is, man. The Hulk Hogan grill.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
Rare, brother. You can best. You can put that on the screen. I don't know if you know how to do that or not. You can actually put that on the screen. There's a thing that should be on your screen that says share.
I'm looking at it on my iPad. I'll see if I can find it on here.
Yeah, you guys. By the way, I don't know if I told you guys before. You guys do have a button that says share on your screen, so you can share something. But what I was getting at is the stamina and the stamina that it takes to be a boxer. And if you guys remember a couple years ago when oh shit, what Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. I don't know if you guys
Oh, that was
watched.
a joke.
What was sad is that McGregor was fatigued after the second round. And the difference between MMA and boxing is that boxing, you're constantly moving, constantly moving. MMA, you move, but not in the same manner as a boxer. And McGregor was wore out. And Mayweather could have taken him out quickly. But Mayweather is the smart guy. And he wanted to give the fans a show. And he probably wanted to teach McGregor as well a lesson. Hey, you might kick my ass in what you do, but we're on my turf and I'm going to show you how we do it. And the fight went on way longer than what it should have, but they were trying to get people their money worth, their money's worth. But the stamina alone it takes to be a boxer. So I'm kind of curious to see how these guys in their 50s, if they're going to be gassed. I get gassed just walking up steps at 42. So I'm kind of curious to see how these guys are going to do it. I'm gonna pull up real quick. Let me see if I can find the George Foreman grill too. But if Holyfield and Tyson come back to fight each other, just out of curiosity, Rick, who you taking?
I'm taking Tyson.
Tim, you taking Tyson?
Yeah, okay. I take Tyson over Tyson Fury right now. RB. I think Tyson can come back now and win.
Tyson didn't let himself go.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this. There's always that question of errors in sports. And there's always the question of who would win between Tyson and Muhammad Ali.
Ooh.
See, I never actually saw Ali fight. I've seen like the highlight reels and stuff like that. So I've never actually watched him go from round to round. So I don't even have a guess on that.
I think if Tyson let Muhammad Ali get in his head the way that Muhammad Ali got in people's head, I think Muhammad Ali would have a chance. But physically, Tyson's, he's just super ripped.
Mm-hmm. It was amazing that Tyson, like when you watched him, how it was like he was just he reminded me of a lion in a tall, I guess you would say meadow, just waiting in the grass to pounce. And Tyson would just take his time, and then here comes that quick uppercut or that quick jab, take a dude out. I don't know. I'm kind of like Rick. Muhammad Ali, I feel would have played around with Tyson, would have danced with him. I feel that he would have tried to get Tyson to come unglued, to come unhinged, and I think that's when Ali would have taken the advantage.
I mean, is there any other boxer on earth that could intimidate Mike Tyson other than Muhammad Ali?
Ooh.
I think Holyfield really intimidated Tyson. I think that's why he had that breakdown and went for the ear.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah, he got frustrated because Holyfield wouldn't go down.
That was in like I call it like the Don King years of Tyson. I think if Tyson would have made that fight early in his career when he was with Customato, I think it would have been a completely different fight. I think he would have tore him up in any case. I think once Tyson got in there and got away from Customato and got around, pronounced that right, and got with Don King as his promoter, I think he lost a little bit of his edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely. I mean, they say that once Customato died, that Don King got in his ear, and I think too, especially from a financial point of view, that Tyson was kind of like, you ever see the movie Cadillac Records about the artist Muddy Waters?
Mhm.
Great film, and in the movie, the producer, the agent, whatever you want to call him, for Muddy Waters, Muddy would sell these records, and he would never get paid in cash, and it was just like, here's a car, here's a car, here's a car, here's a car, and he was happy as long as he had his cars, and as long as he could really get whatever he wanted when he asked for it. So what happened to Tyson was, hey, I need a new car or get me a house or whatever. I don't think Tyson actually ever saw his bank account of what he actually had. And in the end, when he was no longer boxing, he was like, "Well, where's my money at?" And the same thing, like Cadillac Records at the end of the movie, Muddy Waters was like, "Hey, where's all my money at?" And the guy, what I think he pointed outside, he goes, "It's in all those cars out there." And as long as you're giving these guys what they want, they have no idea of how much money that they actually have. And I think that happens across a lot of boards, whether it be sports or entertainment or like musicians or something like that. These guys have no idea what their contracts are constructed of, and as long as if I'm Rick's manager and Rick doesn't know any better, Rick says, Melvin, I need a new car. Rick doesn't care how much it is as long as I get it for him. As long as I'm giving Rick what he wants, Rick has no clue. Rick couldn't care less about what he actually has in the bank, as long as he's getting supplied what he asked for. And I think that's how Tyson got.
On the screen here, I'm watching this, and Rick's below your picture, and the whole time you're talking about holding his money, he's looking straight up at you like, you better pay me my money.
Yeah, I want my money.
It's like a Brady Bunch moment. He's looking at you.
Rick wants his masters, and he wants everything. Yeah. He wants his masters is what he wants. A lot of artists get screwed over that way. I mean, Rick, you would know that, doing music and masters. Would you say masters is probably the most important thing to an artist?
Yeah, if you own your masters, you have absolute control over who makes money off your music from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
But artists anymore, what record labels give them are what are called 365 deals, where basically the record company gets a piece of every line of revenue that you get, and it's usually a really big piece. And that's why, like, doesn't it seem like these days that there's more one hit wonders than there ever was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, most artists these days, say for like 4 or 5, they do 1 or 2 albums and then they're gone. And like,
Mm-hmm.
the 365 deals are what do that, because they run out of music, they run out of money before they get to rehab.
Yeah. It's sad. It's sad it happens. It
Yeah,
really,
so
really does.
I mean, that's why I do things the way I do. Is I don't want anybody else making money off my music, because nobody else does anything.
Yeah. It's especially, I don't use the word easy. It's with today's technology, it is, well, I guess I could say easier for the artist to manage themselves, because you can sell yourself on websites, what, like Spotify or something like that. I don't know, but it's much
Yeah,
easier to do that.
there are services that'll do the distribution for you. Like, I use DistroKid, upload to them, and it goes out to like every streaming service I want it to, just like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, it's much easier to do that now.
Yep.
That way, you don't have to deal with someone robbing you blind. Like TLC had no idea
That's a
that
sad
all
story.
those records they sold, and they had no money whatsoever. Sad, sad, sad. Want to get to the last thing that we got going on, and that is from the National Basketball Association. There's a nice silhouette of Jerry West, the Zeke from Cabin Creek, the old East Bank pioneer. And I know that I'm excited. I know that Chad's excited because the NBA is coming back here. And at the end of the month, was it like the 27th or something like that?
July 30th.
July 30th. Okay. July 30th. Yeah. The NBA is coming back July 30th. The guys are already heading to what they call the bubble, and they are isolated in Florida at Disney World, and they got everything set up to where the guys don't leave and everything like that. So the NBA brought back 22 of the 30 teams. The other 8 teams that had no chance to make the playoffs, they said, hey, call it a day, stay at home. It's not necessary. It'll be easier for us to move forward because you had no mathematical chance of making the playoffs anyway. So, so those teams and those guys got an early vacation, and now everything's set up in the bubble down in Florida. Now, real quickly before I move on to this that Rick brought up, but Chad, with everything that came to a halt and momentum's gone and flow's gone and driving force gone, and everything that was good is pretty much starting over. Out of the remaining teams, who did you have before everything happened in February going to the NBA Finals, and are those teams going to be the same for you? Taking into effect that into consideration that you're going to have guys that are healthy now, having all these months off. You're going to have teams that some guys decided not to play. So, who do you have going in prior to all this happening to the NBA Finals, and when the season resumes here at the end of July?
I think just based on the lineups and the record so far, it's got to be the Lakers and the Bucks. I mean, the Lakers are absolutely loaded, and they're ready to win now. But Giannis and the Bucks have been playing out of their minds this season, and if they continue that, then that seems to be what the finals is going to be. And I mean, LeBron's having basically an MVP year. Plus, you have somebody like Anthony Davis. That's why LeBron's getting the most assists he's ever had in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough matchup, both ways. I mean, you basically have a post anchor, in one forward and a point forward in the other. And both of them can shoot from all over the floor. They got shooters spread all over the floor. You have to build a wall up against Giannis, especially when he gets in transition, to even attempt to try to stop him from getting to the rim. And they have shooters spaced all over the floor. So it's going to be interesting. But I think those are the two top teams in my mind. So I really haven't heard anything different.
Yeah, he's a beast for sure. Absolutely. Me, before everything happened, I had the Lakers, and I don't know, I'll call it a dark horse, but the favorite was the Bucks out of Milwaukee because of the league MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm proud of myself because it took me a long time to get that right. Giannis Antetokounmpo. We started out with just the Greek freak, and it's I don't speak Greek, so but we've been working on it. Antetokounmpo, Giannis. The G is the G silent? Am I getting that part of it right? Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're getting there. So I'm gonna go with Boston. I'm gonna go with the Lakers, and there's gonna be a Lakers Celtics rematch. So that's what I'm gonna go with. But when the NBA resumes, of course, with everything going on in the world and our country and all that, the NBA players went to the players union and Adam Silver, the commissioner of the league, and they were granted to wear names on the back of their jerseys of a selected group of things they can put on the back of their jerseys. So LeBron James has opted to continue to wear his name on the back of his jersey as other players have not. So let me first let me go through a list of the names they can put on the back of their jerseys. Okay, so the NBA's official list of approved social justice messages is as follows: Black Lives Matter, say their names, vote, I can't breathe, justice, peace, equality, freedom, enough, power to the people, justice now, say her name, yes we can, liberation, see us, hear us, respect us, love us, listen, listen to us, stand up, ally, anti racist, I am a man, speak up. How many more? Group economics, education reform, and mentor. So those are the names that the league approved for the players to wear on the back of their jerseys. And, some will agree with it, some won't. Some, it means something to them, some won't. And the the thing with me about sports, and I look at things from every aspect that I possibly can, and I always acknowledge the positive and I always acknowledge the negative, and I acknowledge everything in the middle, and I always understand that everybody isn't going to be on the same page, whether it be for the good or the bad. So some of the players have an issue with them not being able to put what they want on the back of the jersey, and some of them are okay with that. So, Rick, I wanted to ask you what you think of them being allowed to put things on the back of their jerseys.
I think it's really kind of like a weird flex because on the one hand, they're like, you guys can express yourselves from this predetermined list. But I can also understand it because they don't want somebody, putting like F this politician or F that politician on there, or things that would just be bad for the brand of the NBA. So, I think the intent is really good. I just don't know about the execution of it.
Yeah, the you're absolutely right about you have to be careful because it's a mixture of people wanting to stand up for a cause, and it's a mixture of people who want to be heard, want to use their position as an athlete to help show social injustice. Excuse me.
I think it's
But
really good that they centered in on Black Lives Matter.
yeah,
If they made this a free for all, like put whatever cause you want on it, it would have watered the whole thing down.
oh yeah, yeah,
I'm
absolutely,
glad they're at least focusing on one good thing.
yeah. And I think with the NBA, they had to be real careful, and they they say, okay, we understand that this is the primary thing that you guys want to voice yourself about, but at the same time, we also want to be equal and say, okay, this matters and this matters and this matters, and let everyone have a voice. So I personally thought it was really good for them to have many different things, because here's the thing with the NBA, especially the NBA, you have a lot of guys in the NBA that aren't from this country. You have a lot of guys that in their own countries have crazy stuff going on, crazy things to the equivalent that we have here in our country. Some of them have more and more and more than what goes on here. So for those guys as well to voice their opinion about something, I mean, just looking at the names, let me go back here. Let me pull this up here. I'm gonna put the NBA logo back up there so I don't rock the screen. There we go. Let me pull that up. So just looking at the names that the guys can put on the back of their jerseys. Again, it's Black Lives Matter, say their names, vote, I can't breathe, justice, peace, equality, freedom enough, power to the people, justice now, say her name, yes we can, liberation, see us, hear us, respect us, love us, listen to us, stand up, ally, anti-racism, racist, excuse me. I am a man, speak up. How many more group, I keep messing that up. Group economics, education reform, and mentor. So, and look, if LeBron wants to get upset because he can't put what he wants on the back of his jersey, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is that no matter how you feel, it is a business at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that business takes precedent over life, but there are still things that you can do and that you can't do. And the NBA saying, "Hey, this is what we can do." I don't have a problem with that. What were you going to say? I'm sorry. One of you guys said something.
Oh, I was just saying it was a very, very, very big business. Like, how many $1 billion a year is the NBA?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's less than the NFL, but not by much.
It's only slightly. It's the NBA is on track to overtake the NFL in total market share.
Yeah. So with every good in life that's granted, with every helping hand, well, I'm gonna say every helping hand. There's a difference in a good gesture or whatever. I'm not talking about helping a lady carry her groceries across the street. Business wise, anyway, when it comes to doing something positive, there will always be restrictions of how much positivity that you can do. As awful as that is, it's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's just like Tim, for example. You know, if Tim, let's just say he donated something to, I don't know, something, in his community.
Time. Donate time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what would happen is that, well, okay, it's the same thing. Like, people might come into Tim's store, okay, and they say, hey, I got this stuff. How much you want to give me? Blah blah blah. Well, what might happen is that they heard, well, hey, he gave me this for that. I'm sure you can get this out of that. When these people come into the store, and he's like, yeah, that's not, yeah, I knew. And then, well, well, F you, buddy, and blah 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 blah. There are things that Tim can do, and there are things that he can't. And it's not because he likes a customer better than another one. It's just things that he can do and things that he can't. So, if you give something away to someone, just like a neighbor, if I went and cut a neighbor's grass, and another neighbor saw me cutting another neighbor's grass, that neighbor's gonna come up to me and, hey, man, I saw you cut Sheila's grass the other day. You think you can get me too? Well, I did that for free. Oh, well, that's great because I can't pay you anyway. You know what I mean? But you understand what I'm saying. Hopefully. Sometimes I get out there. I don't even know where I'm at sometimes, to be honest with you.
On a slightly more cynical note, too, I mean, I think it's great the NBA is taking the initiative to do that and allowing the players to put certain phrases on the back of the jerseys. And to a certain degree, it's probably a good idea that they are limiting what they can put on there so they don't get a thing like, he hate me on the back of the jersey.
Right.
But it is a financial decision by the NBA, too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, how much more, follow up with me a little bit here, how much money does the NBA make off of jersey sales?
Right.
I mean, it's not, you want to say good for the NBA for taking this stance and doing this, but it's, me being cynical about it, that's not their primary reason for doing it. I don't think their primary reason for doing it is we can sell more jerseys now, and we can make ourselves look good by doing it as well. We're opening up a whole new market. We might sell, million jerseys with that guy's name on it, but now we're going to sell that plus another million more with this phrase on it with his number.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smart move. It's an extremely smart move because they're latching on to the social unrest and turning it into a financial gain for themselves.
Yeah, and those things happen.
And it's not just them promoting it now. Every sports agency is going to promote it. Every news agency is going to promote it. It's a smart financial decision to do it.
I would hope that if they were going to sell that many jerseys with some of the social justice phrases on them, that they would take some of that money and donate it to their social causes.
Yeah,
that would be good. I wouldn't bank on it, but that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just like you said, Tim, if the four of us were in charge of that, I'm just randomly doing these here. I'm not accusing one of you guys, and I came to you guys and I said, hey, we have an opportunity here to let the players' voices be heard and show as a whole, as an organization, how we stand against racial injustice. What do you guys think of that? Well, two of you guys might be like, yeah, that's a wonderful idea. The third guy is saying, yeah, that's a wonderful idea. And then the moment the meeting is over, he pulls one of you guys to the side, just like Tim alluded to, and say, hey, great cause, but bigger picture, we got a chance to sell limited edition jerseys. We got a chance for people that wouldn't normally buy a jersey to buy this jersey. So those things do, those things do happen. So there are people, there's always something to profit off of something. And, those things happen. So, yeah, and I don't know, we'll see, but that's part of business. So part of business, but it's that time, guys. And I had fun with Jason on here today. I did. And
it was good to see him.
Yeah. Chad don't remember him.
So all of y'all went to DuPont?
Yeah.
I don't remember anybody, so I mean that's no big deal.
What year did you graduate?
97.
Okay, so yeah, you'd have been in there with us.
Chad he has, I don't know what he's got going on. Chad plays the guitar sometimes, and maybe he hit a chord that I don't know, it did something to it. I don't know.
It was a ground sound.
something happened. So I don't know. I was commenting on Chad's wonderful beard he's got going on there. One day I got to get some of that oil, that beard oil, because it is too much. So
you gotta get some softener too.
Yeah, it's some softener. That's right. I'm gonna get that big grizzly beard on. So
hey, Drug Emporium and Walmart also has beard oil and beard wax and many other beard and mustache products.
Yeah, it's something for you to sell, Tim.
Some of that.
Yeah, some beard oil. There you go. Well, hey, we're gonna wrap this up. If you guys could say on it right after, like you did last time, that'd be great. And I'm gonna play the outro music here. And like always, I want to thank everybody that takes the time to check us out. And again, you can follow the page on my voiceover page there. I can condense it into one because it's easier to market something with just somebody's name rather than because it's easier to search. So I condensed it into one, but it's still us. And over at Melvin Carter Jr. voiceover the stream anyway. And you can always see us on YouTube with the Melvin Carter Jr. Presents Minds of the Student as well. So let me play the outro music. And I want to give Jason one more time a big shout out. And let me put his banner there on the screen. Let me find him there. You can go see him at 660 Tackett's Branch Road in Hurricane if you are not from here. It's Hurricane for me. And then Hurricane, West Virginia. Kanawha. I always love the GPS. It says Kanawha Street. Kanawha. At www.ecoding.com. That's Jason and his business there of Easter's Custom Coding. And you can also get him on Facebook and Instagram. So let me hit you guys with the outro music here. Let me pull that back up here. And again, guys, if you could hold on for a moment after I hit this and outro music, and we'll be good. Here we go.